All right, it's what everybody's been waiting for, how to deal with disrespectful adult children. It's so hard. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach about parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And we are talking today about some of those difficult moments with adult children. In this video, we're going to be talking about what happens to the relationship when a child chooses to be disrespectful, especially as an adult and especially if there's younger children living in the home. And then we're going to be talking about key things that you can do to help it so that you can repair a relationship with this child that's clearly having a problem. So when a child is disrespectful, that creates distance in the relationship. When they are choosing to disrespect you, it's essentially like they're stepping back, they're stepping away. This is very difficult to take. It hurts your heart. It actually does something for them too. It makes them feel all alone. They don't like it. It makes them panic more and they actually get more stressed. They may like the freedom of not talking to you about things or feeling like you don't get to have any say over their life because they're pushing against you and they live on their own anyway because they're adults, but they don't feel okay. It actually hurts them. It's a big thing to carry. It's a big thing to bear. Whenever you're disrespectful to anyone, it's actually your own cross to bear. When you are thinking ill of the other person, you have a hard time when you get together with them bonding and talking openly. And so then it just makes your relationship more sick and more sick. So really, we've got to nip that disrespectfulness quickly if we can. But the thing is when they're an adult child and they're living away from you, that can be even more difficult. Now, if they're living with you, there's definitely more that you can do. But we have to talk about the effects of that adult child being disrespectful if you have younger children in the home. This is huge. Whether your child lives away from you or with you and they are disrespecting you, those younger children actually end up feeling a little bit like, I'm not sure if I can trust my older sibling, what is going on there, or the older sibling will turn them away from mom and dad, and then those younger children feel isolated. They start to resent the home atmosphere. They don't like it. They need their parents to fully stand up for those family bonds. They need their parents to show them, no, we honor who our family is. We don't tear people down, which means the parent definitely has to set the right example. When your child is living with you and is disrespectful to you, there is a lot more that you can do than the parent who has the child living somewhere else. So if your child is living with you, you can say, hey, we're part of a group here. There's a feeling, a tone that needs to exist here. And so we've got to make some changes. When the adult child has already moved away and then they're starting to disrespect you, this is much more difficult to solve the problem because they're essentially hiding from you a lot. So what you have to do is continually reach out to them. You have to decide, I love them no matter what. Literally no matter what. In fact, that is one of the key things you should always tell your children growing up. And when they hit that adult age and they're launching off, you look them square in the eyes and you say, I want you to know something. I love you no matter what. You could go to prison. You could do any of the horrible things that people in this world choose to do, and I will always love you. Even if you say mean things to me, I'll always love you. I want you to know that. And then you start making plans at that point for what type of a relationship you do want to have. We're going to talk about those plans in just a moment, but do you see that subscribe button? Push that button now, and that way you can find more things out about self-government. Speaking of self-government, what is self-government? Because that's a key piece of this discussion. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what that means is that you understand yourself and you understand cause and effect. So if you make a decision that seems to have an effect that you don't like, you will take full ownership for it, you will fix it and move on. Now, isn't that what we would love for our relationships with our young adult children? So I have 4 young adult children right now, and in the past I had multiple young adult children who were all foster children and as they graduated from my home and went out into the world. And if there's one thing I know about young adults, it's that they want to know they're doing something right. They want want someone to tell them they're doing something right. They want you to be supportive of them. So tell them, I love you no matter what. And then, hey, what do we want our relationship to be like? Let's plan for how we can support and love each other right now. Years ago, when my oldest son, Quinn, decided that it was time to move out and move on, I mean, it was time. He'd served a mission for our church. He was home for a little bit. He was going off to school. He was moving out. I said to him, Quinn, now that you're an adult and you're off on your own and I'm still your mom, but what does that mean for me? What are our roles now that you are changing phases of life? Because technically that means I'm changing phases too, because now I have an adult child who's leaving the nest, right? And he thought about it for a minute. And he said, well, I guess your role is to give me advice and to make sure I don't do anything stupid. I said, I guess. But I can't make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. That's not my job, right? But what he meant was, Mom, you've always been outspoken. Just go ahead and talk to me. Tell me things. Tell me if you see that I need to make a shift. He was open to that. That was what he saw my role as. And his role was still learner, but now he was taking on more responsibility. He had this role of independent, autonomous adult, which meant I couldn't solve all his problems. I couldn't control everything for him anymore. I couldn't tell him everything to do. I needed to pick my times to give him advice a little bit more carefully, because he was going to have to learn a few things the hard knocks way as well. Okay? So this book here, Roles, The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success, is a great book for opening up conversations with your adult children, or any of your children for that matter, discussing who you are to each other in each other's lives now. So be sure to look for that book. It's important for them to understand what disrespect looks like and feels like, and what respect looks like and feels like. Before we get to that conversation, we want to make sure that we know what type of a relationship we want to have. So if you read that Roles book, and then you have the conversations that the parents have with their children in that Roles book, you will have paved a great foundation for having a discussion about what it should and shouldn't look like if your relationships are functional and respectful. What the parents do in the book, and I'm just going to highlight it, but it certainly is not all of the learning, so be sure to read the book, is that the parents have a one-on-one conversation with each of their children, even their adult children, and they say, what do you want our relationship to be like 5 years from now? They create a vision for their specific relationship. And then they talk about what's getting in the way of that, what they should do instead, and they make plans for how they're going to communicate as a full family and within their relationship. You'll want to do similar things with your adult children. Make a concrete plan about who you're becoming in your relationship so that when things don't feel quite right, you'll know something needs to be fixed. You'll know that the relationship has gone off and that you need to put some effort into repairing and strengthening that relationship. After you've had a conversation about where you're going in your relationship, these types of deliberate conversations need to be had on a regular basis, by the way. Just like talking about where you're headed first once is pretty good, but then occasionally going, hey, how's our relationship doing? Over time, that's a really good thing. Be deliberate. Most people don't ever have those conversations, and most people don't ever fix their relationships either. They stay in a place that is very disconnected from each other, and you don't have to do that. So after you do that, then have the conversation about what is respect and what is disrespect. What's the difference between these two things? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And what does it do to us? Right? And then say, how are we going to fix it? We have to make a plan. Right now, you're living in the home. We've got a little bit of time. Let's plan for what we want it to be like. Let's plan how we're going to solve our problems and correct things. Let's make a plan. And if you have to, go to the full parenting course for a short period of time, the TSG parenting course. Go to that. And for a short period of time, do all the corrections and all the training for all of those skills. Teach your child how to self-correct. teach them how to discuss something with you in a more effective manner. Do all of those things really quickly and then launch them off. Those are adult skills for life. They'll be so powerful and they will really strengthen your child. If you want a little bit of a sneak peek about what is in that TSG parenting course, I have a full class that goes into a lot of the skills and principles of self-government. That class is going to be probably the next video that you want to watch, and it is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on a link to that video now. I'll see you there.